Hi, Linda Sessions here, and welcome to week 7. Just a couple of more weeks left in Introduction to Business. I was looking at your postings for the memorable marketing video, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun watching the different videos and then reading your responses to them. You guys pretty much as a whole nailed it. You knew the target audience, you knew what impact those marketing videos had on those markets, and some of you even talked about where the placement was as far as the time of year that marketing ad took place. And so all of those are things that business owners need to take into consideration when they're creating their marketing campaigns. Placement, the product. Now, some of it went into price. The Dollar Shave Club was pretty popular among a lot of you, but it was a lot of fun. So thank you so much for your discussions on that. This week in Module 7, we're looking at using technology in business. So let's get into the textbook here. Using technology to manage information and understanding accounting and financial information. Don't go into real deep dive into the accounting and financial information. It literally just scratches the surface. We do have accounting classes. So if you're interested in learning more about the accounting process, what your accountant would go through, even if you don't want to be the accountant, it's always a good idea if you own a business that you understand how those different areas work. So again, if you want more, we do have classes that carry on over. And some of them are 8 weeks. So hey, check them out. So in Chapter 13, you're going to be looking at using technology to manage information. And there is so much technology. There's so many different types of technology that you can use. And there's so much information available at our fingertips right now that it is absolutely crazy. Let's bop into the chapter and just take a look at some of these headings in this, using technology to manage information. So here in Chapter 13, you can see the learning objectives for the chapter. What's the changing role in business technology? And I would put out there that it changes every week. You've got to stay up with it. List of different types of business information that you might track. Compare the scope of the internet, intranets, which is within your business, virtual private networks. Goes a little bit into detail about that technology side. And then what's the difference between a LAN, local area network, and a WAN, wide area network, and what's the benefits and drawbacks. So local area network is kind of like what I have in my house. We actually have a little box up about in the middle of our house, and I know it's sad, there's just 2 of us in our house, but we actually have like 4 computers, and all of our computers are they all go to that same server. So it doesn't matter which computer I set on, I can get information from it. So that's a local area network. A wide area network is similar to, while it's little in compared to some wide area networks, WSU Tech. We have all of our servers are located, some of them are on the WSU campus, some of them are located in CAT, yet all of our computers can talk to each other no matter where you're at. So a lot of big businesses, they do have a wide area network, but it goes into more detail about that. And then you're going to be looking at the human resource security, privacy, and stability issues affected by information technology. A couple of summers ago, WSU Tech got hacked. and it was right at the beginning of the summer session, and it was chaos central with all the information that was actually obtained by the hackers. But the disruption to classes, especially for, I teach online in the summer all the time, and having to have different firewalls, different ways I had to access the information that usually the students could get right to, they couldn't because of the different firewalls that they had to put up in place until they got that all fixed. But that is one of the reasons why we have that duo authentication process going on that you probably had to deal with. It'll ask you, hey, yeah, it's you put this information in, but we want to make sure it's you. And that's to protect the internet. It's to protect the servers, the network, not the internet, but the network where you work at. But it's also meant to protect you from any malicious software. So this getting to know Jim Kavanaugh, the CEO of Worldwide Technology, it's kind of an interesting read. So if you have a chance, make sure you read through that and see what that CEO is all about. So that is the using technology to manage information. And let's go back and see if we can find. Okay, so here in chapter 14, you're looking at the accounting and financial information for your company. When you run your own business, you have to understand where the money is going. Is it going out? Is it going to the proper people? Or bills getting paid? And this chapter looks at that. Demonstrate the role that accounting and financial information plays for business and its stakeholders. Want you to look at the steps in the accounting cycle and talk about the difference between accounting and bookkeeping. Did you know there was a difference? Learn about it here. And how computers are used in accounting. I know my brother has a small business and he uses the computer all the time to help track his inventory. You also, though, even if you have an accountant, pay attention, because he had an accountant that he thought was doing everything right. You know, he'd talk to him, he had all the questions. Whenever he'd visit with him, he had all the correct paperwork, and then come to find out he never filed any taxes. And so, of course, my brother, stuck paying a huge tax bill. And all because his accountant really wasn't doing his job. He just didn't realize it. So make sure that you follow up with your accountant. I think that accountant, I don't think he's in business anymore, and I think he's in a lot of trouble with a lot of different companies for taking advantage of them like that. So you're going to look at the different major financial statements and also the different disciplines. And again, here's another really good little article getting to know Shania Wilson, founder and CEO of Fola Financial. So just a little snapshot of her. Again, if accounting is something that you're interested in, I strongly recommend that you sign up and take one of our accounting courses, even if it's just Accounting 1, just to get an idea of what an accountant does, what they're looking at, and how that all works. It's great knowledge for you to have, so make sure you check that out. So going back to our business class here, after you've looked through the chapters, and again the PowerPoints are right here, it's just a supplement to go along with you as you're looking at the chapters. You've got 2 discussion boards, a hot seat case, and then the Module 7 quiz. So on the discussion board on Chapter 13, you're supposed to describe how a company might use data warehousing and data mining in its information system to better plan for new products. This is going to go along with Chapter 13. So make sure you read and look through Chapter 13 before you try to answer this question. For some of you, it might be tempting just to use AI. Don't use AI. Use your own words, guys, okay? But how might a company use data warehousing? What is it? Or data mining? in its information system to plan for new products. So how do they decide, based on their information, what products they're going to introduce to society? It's basically what it's asking for. And in Chapter 14, as a potential investor in a company or buyer of a business, would it be advisable for you to evaluate the company's financial statements? Why or why not? What key information would you seek from a firm's financial statement? This is going to go back to Chapter 14. So if you're thinking about buying a business, do you think you should look at the company's financial statements? What specifically should you be looking for? What do you think would be the most important thing? On the hot seat case, you're going to be planning a future for business through financials. The case is Holly Lee, owner of Holly's Boutique, has been reluctant to relinquish any control of her small business. But as her business grows, she's decided to hire Chad, a full-time marketing manager, and Stella, a part-time accountant. Holly and Chad are meeting with Stella for the first time to talk about financial planning. What are Holly's takeaways from this meeting? Would you make any different financial decisions than Holly has? And so this is like the little vignette, and there are 5 questions that you need to answer about this little vignette. So those are the 3 assignments, and then there is a Module 7 quiz, which is over information in 13 and 14. So this is week 7. 4 different assignments to do. The next week is week 8, and that is the final exam. And so I'm going to go ahead and talk about this right now. The final exam overview will be available. It will actually open up on October 6th, and it will be open until October 12th. It covers all of the chapters we've studied. Now you do get 2 attempts to take this exam. The highest one is what will count towards your grade. It picks random questions, so your questions won't be the same both times, so just be aware of that. It's not timed, and it is open book. And I like to make this particular one open book because as a business person myself, as I'm looking for stuff, if I have questions, I'm going to Google it. But you're going to get through and be more successful on this exam if you review all those chapters ahead of time. Look over the PowerPoints here in the modules. Right up here, right before Chapter 1, is a link to all of the PowerPoints. It says all 14 PowerPoints. So you can review those PowerPoints, write down the key terms, that sort of information, just give an idea, refresh in your mind, what did we do over the last 7 weeks, right? Before you go in and do the final exam. And again, that final exam opens up on October 6th, which is next Monday. So it will open up on the 6th, and you have until the 12th to finish it. I will not take the final exam late. I have to do a turnaround and have grades posted ASAP. So as soon as possible. So no late assignments on the 12th, on the final exam. So 6th through the 12th, you have a week to take that final exam. That is basically week 7 and week 8. 2 for the price of 1. Reach out if you have any questions. I am here to help you be successful. Send me an email. We can meet. We can do a phone call, Zoom meeting, whatever you need. So reach out and let me know. Bye. Have a great week.